Iwer George and Mrs. George, as well as the rest of the staff at the Street 91.9 FM. What a pleasure it is to be with you all this evening. And of course, we have an interesting weekend that has happened. So feel free to join me, keep my company, give me a call, and let's talk about it. It's unavoidable. I have to get into speaking about the recent developments with Venezuela and all of those activities. We know we have some people who really enjoy that type of geopolitical discussion, so we want to get into it right away. Now, I am looking at today's, or the newspaper. Actually, over the weekend, it was quite active. Very, very active. So today's Newsday, the front cover, Tobago Hotel Association boss sounds alarm. Tourism fallout over U.S. radar. I'm also looking at, that was Friday's report. And today's Guardian starts with final warning. We were able to get a little snippet of information that came out of the White House, where we believe President Trump would have had a private call with President Maduro, giving him his final warning to flee or face expanded military action. So it is heating up in the Caribbean at this time. In the Caribbean waters, it is heating up at this moment. So those tensions has escalated. President Trump issued a direct ultimatum to Nicolas Maduro to step down. And the U.S. military has intensified the operations in the Caribbean. And of course, Venezuela is condemning that move by the U.S. and stating basically that it's a violation of their sovereignty. It's a highly charged geopolitical moment, and the Caribbean is no longer on the sidelines. So people have lots of thoughts and feelings about these things. Lots of thoughts and feelings, because now it is becoming more and more real. There was even some sighting of some type of fighter jet or so within the vicinity. We've even seen we had some exposure with other things that's happening. So there's some concern. How are we going to make it through this situation? So we're going to start with Tobago. A radar was placed in Tobago, a military radar that's set up near the ANR International Airport. And the tourism sector has a concern, because they are saying now that the airspace over Venezuela has been to some extent shut down. President Trump made that call that that area over Venezuela's their aerial vicinity is a no-fly zone. So when you get those types of calls, it means that action is about to take place. He is threatening an inland invasion. So Tobago Hotel Association, they are saying that visitor arrivals in Tobago are dropping with the imminent threat of land strikes by the United States on Venezuelan targets, and tourism stakeholders are now demanding compensation from those responsible for bringing wartime activity to the island. The view was expressed by the president of the Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association, Reginald McLean. Having a radar here, he says, and U.S. military people here makes us a target now, and I'm going to be real in saying that. Tourists are not going to flow as they started to book, and we're now having cancellations. So if that happens, who's going to compensate the people of Tobago? The military-grade radar system has been erected on the eastern end of the fenced-off area at the ANR International Airport and seemed to be operational as it swiveled 360 degrees on November 29th. So we have some concerns coming out of Tobago. Tobago elections is drawing nigh, and questions about the sovereignty of Tobago, because they are calling for their own sovereignty. So how is that going to work out in the midst of all of this? Because we are still, at this point, one nation, Trinidad and Tobago, with a central government. So why does this matter? We have to think of sovereignty and autonomy. Was Tobago properly informed or consulted? I think the head of the THA, he has those concerns because he was still awaiting that type of conversation. And we see in the news where the Prime Minister admitted that she would have made that call. She would have made that request. She stated that in the Parliament. She made a request for that radar device to be installed for those particular protections and to ward off certain persons engaging in those activities. So really and truly, this can influence the voters who already feel that the central government is overriding Tobago's interest. And I would love to hear the views of our Tobagonian listeners on the on the ground. What does the pulse of Tobago feel like, sound like in light of this particular situation? As you go through social media, I saw at some point that persons from Tobago would be saying, listen, this is Trinidad, Maduro, this is Trinidad, this had nothing to do with Tobago. We did not, we don't have any part in that. But now, a U.S. war device, that surveillance artifact, is now in Tobago, on Tobago's soil, at the request of the Prime Minister. So now there is not a situation where you can separate one or the other. We are all in this together at this point. And it's concerning because Tobago heavily relies on that tourism aspect. And not having persons come into the country can create some challenges for them in terms of the economy. Yes, they do get financing from Trinidad's central government, from our central government as Trinidad and Tobago. But of course, they have their business activities that are taking place. Would this be another case of what happened during COVID-19? I remember the business community in Tobago crying out during COVID and the fact that the then government, the PNM under Dr. Rowley, they felt as though the then government did not care about the livelihood of Tobago and the fact that they were suffering to get basic items, food and all of these things because they had issues with the boats at one point, and of course COVID presented its own challenges. So is this now a return of those particular conditions that will make Tobago feel the pinch even more? Noting that trade has to happen. They need to come into Trinidad to get certain things, to get their businesses conducted as they would like to. So that autonomy, that sovereignty of that part of the nation is going to be under some pressure. So again, will it influence the voters, the persons who are going to be voting soon? Who are already feeling these pinches and who already have challenges in terms of whether or not Tobago is allowed to truly do things the Tobago way. We have that economic concern, the fear of militarization affecting the visitors. How will we be seen as a nation? We have Carnival approaching soon. A lot of times some people skip over Christmas and they go right in preparation for Carnival. Now, although Tobago just had their Carnival period in October, the Grand Carnival that happens in sometimes February, sometimes March, depending on the year, it's approaching us. And it looks like the next Carnival period will be soon, a bit closer rather than later. Right, between February and March. It's going to be, I believe, early February. So that it means that there will be some challenges in terms of the visitors. People are looking on, and of course they do not want to be part of these situations that happen. Because the challenge with war, sometimes you can prepare for a natural disaster, you could run to higher ground, you can prepare as much as possible and hope for the best. But the challenge with war is that you do not know if it is your time. You don't know if you will be in your own space. There's nowhere really and truly to hide, because we've seen in the past that zones that are considered no bombing and things of that nature, they've been affected. Many hospitals across the globe has been impacted by wars because people just don't care. They bomb and they do their missiles and so on wherever they so feel. And so we need to take cognizance of that, the militarization, how that is going to impact the country, the nation of Trinidad and Tobago as a whole. So, voters whose livelihoods depend on tourism may punish any party that they feel compromises their safety and the safety of Tobago. Now that's going to be a bit of a war. It's going to be some challenges because the Tobago they made their voices heard over the years in terms of selecting a party outside of the PNM for which they would have been voting traditionally over the years. And so they have made a stand and they stood for Tobago. And so they decided this is what they are going to do. But now, with Mr. Fali and his team, his party, in that connection or working with the central government, we can see that there may be some fractures within the communication. We will see that there's some issues there, because if he's saying that they have not been communicated with, then there will be some cause for concern. This election surely will be an interesting one. So I would love to hear from our brothers and sisters in Tobago how they feel about the situation. What is the feeling like? Do you feel anxious about what you see there? Do you feel hopeful at all? What do you see? What do you feel at this point in time? Some voters, may say that stronger security is good, because if you evaluate all that has been happening in Venezuela, whether you are familiar with the information or not, there are views that the state of Venezuela is one such that it is so terrible, it is so bad, with the state of the drug situation, the crime situation, even the state of the politics and the type of leadership that persons would have had to flee Venezuela to save their own lives. There are some persons on the ground who can say to us, Venezuela is not what you think it is. Some people would say, yes, some people are comfortable, but the masses, to a large extent, to a greater extent, the masses are feeling the pinch so much more, because there's a level of dictatorship, as some may say, that's happening. Some Venezuelans, in fact, are quite happy at what is happening with the U.S. intervention, because they feel that that is the only way that President Maduro would be able to listen to them. And they actually don't appreciate his style of leadership. So, the stronger security, there's some support to some extent for that. And again, for others, there are others who believe, why are we dragging Tobago into this U.S.-Venezuela standoff? This has nothing to do with us. We are just trying to live. What does this have to do with us? Right? So those are some of the views that I've been seeing on the social media. We have the issue of trust, transparency, and communication. Some Tobago leaders are saying that they were blindsided. There wasn't consultation, as I previously said. And again, it will be interesting to see the communication and the relationship between the Tobago leadership, Fali and his team, as well as the central government. Because if they are feeling blindsided, then this is not the partnership that they would have signed up for. It means that something is missing in the situation. But to play devil's advocate, if we were to evaluate the position of the Prime Minister and her ability to release sensitive information, once you are placed in that seat, you will understand that everything cannot be shared. However, when it comes to that communication that will affect other people, the communication, in my view, should have been there. I'm not sure to what extent, because if Mr. Fali is saying that that communication was not there at all, then we have to take him at his word that that is in fact what would have taken place. But really and truly some communication should have been established so that he is not left in the dark as to what is happening in the part of this on the island that he is in control of, he has responsibility for. And so, you know, that lack of transparency, you know, it can become an issue where accountability and representation is concerned. Because at this time, the last thing we would want is to have infighting between the central government and the governing body for the Tobago. For Tobago, we need to have everyone in one accord at this point in time because of the sensitive nature of what is happening. So, you know, what can we expect coming out of this? We are still under a state of emergency, so we cannot protest. You can't have any protests. So what really, we just have to watch and see as everything unfolds. We are seeing in the parliament that parties are weaponizing the issue, of course, to gain their support and accusing the others of selling out and this thing. So we are seeing that infighting that's happening, but at very most, that's all that may come out of it. There are some people who appreciate what is happening because there are arguments that our borders are way too porous. We have seen it over the years. I mean, I've seen over the years that, you know, some small boats may come ashore with persons who don't belong to Trinidad and Tobago. We have been seeing it for years. And if it is that easy for someone to take a small, those dinghy boats or so, and just make their way to the shores of Trinidad and Tobago, it's that easy, then tell me what would have been happening in that dark realm of drugs and narcotics if that so is the case. And the U.S. presence here builds the case that it is in fact true. There are some would argue that the U.S. is just here to bully Venezuela to get their oil, and then there are others that would say this drug issue is in fact a real one. And while we may or may not be the judge of the situation, we can agree that our borders are porous. It will beg the question, what has been happening with our Coast Guard arm of the national security? What happens there? What, you know, we hear many things, that there are allegations of corruption, that, you know, people are colluding to get certain things happening. So the borders have not been safe. So now it has reached to this extent. It has reached to the point that it is no longer, we cannot return to what it was before. This is happening, and it is happening now. That U.S. has taken it upon themselves to intervene in the affairs of countries that have nothing to do with them. We must understand how serious war and the possibility of war is. You know, so even our umpires, they often talk about belling the cat. They often talk about belling the cat and the fact that it just has to happen. So what do? The responsibility is there to deal with the situation. And now that we have a new government in place, hard decisions have to be made. Hard decisions must be made regardless of the outcome. And there are some people that may feel that way. So what do you feel? What do you think about that? How do you feel about that? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? How do you feel about what is happening at this time? Christmas is approaching. We are celebratory people. Right after Christmas, as I said, we go into Carnival. That's usually the period of high celebration and high anticipation. But we are looking into 2026 at what could possibly be a grim future. All the investment in advancing the country, in building the economy, for seeing a brighter and a newer dawn, those possibilities can be shifted in a matter of seconds. We are seeing all of these things playing out before our eyes, and the question is, how are we going to deal with this? With almost little communication, because again, we understand the sensitivity of the situation. Let me take this call. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good evening. That is why I said to your colleague a couple of days ago, I'm not hearing the voice, maybe it's your ear. Okay?
Just me today, yes.
I said to them, we will have no foreign investment here until this whole issue here clear up. Nobody in coming to invest no money here with the program what the Prime Minister presented to us. Beautiful talk. They wouldn't be coming here in this climate as investors. Them people who just come here to wine for carnival from foreign. They're risking their life in this climate.
Very good point.
Tourists coming here to go into Tobago in this climate. It wouldn't happen. And the Hotel Association who talking to that is surprising to me. This is the price that you pay when you get yourself involved, what you were supposed to stay out of.
But caller, do you think she had a choice?
Listen
If
to
we were
me.
to look at it that way, do you think she
Excuse
had a
me.
choice?
I'm not going down that road. You get yourself in this mess because of somebody being irresponsible. Have a nice evening.
Thank you so much. All right. All right, so you can keep your calls coming. As I said, we do appreciate every opinion, every view, because this is what this is. It's an intelligent discussion. It's not. Let me just take another call. Good evening and welcome. Good evening, welcome. Hi, welcome.
Auntie. Of course, she had a choice. Everybody has a choice. The same way how she chose to be dishonest and then come out and change the story and say something else afterwards. Long time I understand in areas of national security is not everything you would be able to disclose, but you need to find a more skillful way to say that you cannot say what or disclose information instead of choosing to outright lie to the people of the country. I mean, it cannot be that you're so short of vocabulary that you cannot say, here what's going on. In this matter, we really can't say much, but as much as we can say is this, that, and the other, and that's the end of it. You choose to go and offer a lie instead of just disclose the fact that you cannot disclose much information. I don't know. And you see, character is a hell of a thing. And what we continue to wrestle with as it relates to the people who end up in leadership positions. It all seems like almost all the time they fall short in terms of character. And that goes across the board. Across the board. But the thing is, they are able to continue, they are facilitated to continue when we, the citizens, a portion of us, just dip our heads in the sand, close our mouths, shut our eyes, pay no attention to nothing because why? You're supporting that particular political party. And boy, I don't know when we will be successful enough to escape this type of ping-pong politics in Trinidad, where we truly have a group of persons who understand what is taking place in Trinidad and understand the direction that we need to go. And I will end how I started. Of course, she had a choice. Nothing wrong with staying quiet in this scenario because you have no bearing on the influence of these superpowers. So to just be egging on certain acts, especially when you are a senior counsel lawyer, you seeing Donald Trump and the United States are blatantly disregarding the rule of law, providing nobody with any type of evidence to verify the course of action that they're taking. So only because you are capable of doing something similar, I'm just supposed to believe that you are doing the right thing?
Understood.
That
Understood.
That is what some people are saying, because America is so sophisticated and have all this thing that they're able to see what on the boat and what not, but they are not providing evidence for it to be scrutinized by anyone. So is it that they want to telling untruths? And it really cannot be that it is more than what they're saying?
Yes. Understood.
Because I keep hearing this thing, how, especially the human trafficking one is disturbing to me, because if human trafficking is really taking place, it means that we really might just be blowing up some of the victims on the boat. And that is not sitting well with me. So people just talking and talking about human trafficking. That is just talk to me. I ain't seen no thing linking this activity, human trafficking, unless human traffickers decide here what's going on. We ain't trafficking nobody, and it's only the drug runners trying the trick and getting blown up. It's not making no sense to me.
Understood. Thank you so much. I appreciate your views. Thank you so much. So yes, we have people with some strong views. I saw a caller. You can call back, caller, whenever you get a chance. We are hearing some very, very strong views. And let me just read while I wait on that caller. He's calling. Good evening to you and welcome.
Is this the Street 91.9 FM?
Yes, please. It is. Go right ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, I just want to say good afternoon and great topic and great callers, but some out of timing. And you know what I mean? Boy, I want to say, sister and I live in the southern part of Trinidad and Tobago. I live by right?
Right.
When you see so much, we just like Icacas is about 3 or 10 miles to Venezuela, right?
Right.
And when you see so much action going on in these pathways, like our elderly citizens like me, and it's kind of, you know what I mean, you have a chill, like something could happen, like when the Titanic was leaving, they said God came sank the Titanic, right?
Yeah.
Suppose somebody press a wrong button outside this system. Oh, happening, right? If you see that mess, if you see what I had there, yeah? Wait, and they had a radar that went to Tobago. Well, I think War 3 starts, have a good evening. That's just my little taste on it, right?
Yes,
so,
thank you.
Merry Christmas if I see you again. You know, life is just one day at a time, right?
Yes,
Today we talk and tomorrow we go along. But, well, I from thought, I the cemetery or the creek. So, have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Good evening and welcome. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening to you, young lady.
Hi.
And good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It's amazing to me how people think right now. I could understand conversation, and I could also understand sarcastic conversation. And the citizens of this country, they like more sarcastic conversation. But Venezuela was listed as a drug country that was sanctioned for over 26 years. Because the Americans are not, it didn't start with Trump, because the Americans classify Venezuela as a drug-run country, and the leader of the country engaged in wrongdoings and misconduct in public office and all these things for over 26 years. Many European countries all over the world see that same view that the Americans see. And in that 26 years, the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago had big problems with those drugs and them that passing over here. We see some of the biggest drug busts in containers and chicken containers and all kind of thing in our ports. And I want to ask, why would the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago like stick more to controversial conversation rather than the reality of what's going on. Over 13 million people, citizens of Venezuela, flee Venezuela. And who they're running from is Maduro. Maduro representation they're running from. It have women in Venezuela cannot even buy food, cannot even buy stay free or tampons in Venezuela. As a grandmother, the senior citizens get $5 US a month as pension. Why is we concentrate on, not you I'm speaking about,
Yeah, of course.
why is we concentrate on controversial topic? Why we cannot see the reality of the sufferation of the people and them that live in 7 miles away from us? It is factual that the Americans seized over $9 billion in Maduro assets as a president, and yet still, he's still a billionaire. Why is the people suffer? Why should America not take a stand on that? Why would our government not say, for 26 years, we have a problem with the drugs coming in our country, and the only thing that, let me say it frankly, when the PNM side thinks she say, because the take she would, in a PNM view, kill them all. When a prime minister could say, kill them all, who she was talking about? She was talking about the honest citizens, or she was talking about the drug runners and the kidnappers that Keith Rowley classified them as terrorist organization. The People's National Movement under Keith Rowley spent over $5 million to have a summit of the Americans to have a topic on crime and classify those same people that are bombing up today. Not we, the Americans bombing up in international water, classify them as terrorist organization. Why would we not want a radar in Tobago to stop the terrorist organization and we can see anything coming in this country? Why people want controversial political propaganda when keeping a blind eye on the facts that the people suffering? If Maduro have 4 million people supporting him, and in a country of over 35 million people, does he have the majority? Does he have the majority? Why it is in a constitutional, supposed to be constitutional country, the minority have the say and the majority have to flee the country? Well, thank God, citizens of this country, it have the big mighty bullies that you all call as the Americans will put a stop to that. You all keep a blind eye on the hungry children that live in Venezuela, the young girls who have to run Venezuela and even have to come and prostitute in Trinidad over here to send back money to see about the family. You all keeping a blind eye on that for political support. What a shame. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are seeing different realities. Now, if anyone would have ever spoken to a Venezuelan that is in support of what's happening with the U.S., you would hear those very same sentiments. And, you know, I've heard it myself, that the state of Venezuela is one such that people cannot even speak out and say how they feel, lest they end up imprisoned. If anyone wants to call to challenge that statement, I welcome the call. Let me see who's calling here. Good evening and welcome.
Make a call.
Good evening and welcome.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sugar.
Welcome to the street. Go ahead.
Yeah, on the street right now. Calling from the street. Good afternoon to you and your two brothers and them do nothing in the studio alone. I like how you alone on before them, man.
Of course.
You get emotion can you say you get callers back to back while let's talk. Because majority will call only be coming and talk about 2 hours when the show that's talking.
You like the talk.
But by the way,
all right. We go in.
Well, sometimes we call and you also want to call and you know put a little 2 cents and thing now, but we can't dictate all the places, all around the dancing there.
Well, you have, this is your forum.
Yeah.
You go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying now. You see that jokes thing? I want to congratulate the Prezi
come up in the big time of it. He banned, nobody can be selling FCCs, no pills, and no cocaine up there anymore again. Because that FCCs and them pills and them, they put it in punching and giving them younger than them it, and they stripping and whining and getting on and doing all kind of mad things, especially them pills and them. And that it come like he save a whole generation because plenty of youth taking that pills and doing a certain mad thing. You feel all that crime going on in the country, you feel it's going on normal.
I understand.
So that plus I give him respect for that for he save a generation. Especially with that pills. That pills really good. Don't take no drink for nobody for the carnival coming here.
Yeah, well, you know that, and that's one of the
be
concerns as well.
Be cautious. Yeah, nobody can no drink open night.
All right, well, thank you so much.
I like your smile, man. Bless.
Man, have a good evening. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we are hearing different views at this point in time. And again, I'm welcoming the opportunity for persons in Tobago, our Tobago brothers and sisters, to feel free to call and tell us what's happening, at least on the ground with you. How do you feel, you know, seeing that? It's one thing to stay from Tobago and, you know, you see what's happening in Trinidad. Not that be so far away, but now it is on your soil. How do you feel? Let me take this call. Good evening and welcome to the Street 91.9.
Yes, good afternoon. I just want to say two things.
Yes, please.
You think America really care about Trinidad and Tobago?
Very good point. Very good point.
You think they really care about Trinidad and Tobago? You had that same president back then said this country is a so-and-so whole country. You remember that?
Yes.
Right. So America goes into every country only for one reason. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much for that. So we are hearing different sides, you know, and the reality is both sides or both arguments as being presented, neither of them are false. There's a reality in Venezuela. There's also a reality that we have seen over the years with the U.S. and how they operate and so. So at this point in time, you know, it's difficult really to take one side. Let me take this call. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening again to you, young lady.
Yes.
I want to tell that last caller, the support we have been getting from the United States of America for the past 50 years, it have no other country in the world that give us support as what the American give us. It have no other country in the world that support NGOs and private businesses and citizens of the country and national security to spend millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Can you name 2 countries in the world that give us that support? I believe the Americans care about the Caribbean. They see the destruction that the Caribbean leaders and them keep a blind eye for over 50 years. The love you have for the PNM and for the Venezuelan today, why don't have that love for the security of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? Why don't have that love for the 600 murders that we have in this country repeatedly over and over? Stop engaging yourself in controversial propaganda and sticking your head in the sand, according to my brother earlier on, and closing your eye to the reality of what's taking place. The Americans spend millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to ask this question too. How it is nobody is saying, well, the presence of the Americans over here is the former Prime Minister what sign off on that. And when the media asks him, he said, well, you go and tell the country that. Why it is only not saying is Keith Rowley and the PNM what sign off so that the Americans could come in Trinidad and do whatever they want. Why only not say that? Because that might make all the party look bad, but it's the facts and the reality of what's taking place. No countries, no Caribbean countries could stop the Americans from going in the water, going in the airspace, or going in the country. None. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me take this call. Good afternoon to you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, my sister. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Can I ask you to just speak up a little bit?
All right, you hear me now?
All right, I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
Yeah, beautiful. I don't know why every time you hear Chungi and them talk, there's always some politics, PNM thing with him. The sickening boy. Oh, God. And you know, my sister, I try to stick to the topic, right? As far as I'm concerned, this whole thing, the beginning of this thing with Trinidad and Tobago was for the Prime Minister to remain neutral. She was not to get involved in this mess with America and with Venezuela. All the rest of Caribbean countries or islands remain neutral, except Trinidad and Tobago. And she even went, you know, look how far this thing reached, my sister. Every time you listening to American news, all you hearing Trinidad and Tobago, it reached a point now where they are saying that Trinidad and Tobago is joining with America for regime change in Venezuela. So we are joining to fight with America to overturn Maduro. That is how far it reached now, my sister. That is where it reached now. And with the aspect of Tobago and with the radar, how you could first begin to say to them, no Marines. But the Tobagonians saw Marines up there and they started to talk. And when the Tobagonians started to talk, you come out and say, nah, I say they know and they have. You're lying to the people for what? If you know that Marines are coming in, especially with the planes and with the radar business, not even a chief secretary was contacted. You walk over the man like a doormat. And I heard him saying he have to get to the bottom of this. I don't like what is going on. He have to have a meeting with the Prime Minister. And while he is talking about meeting with the Prime Minister, the radio is going up. What can I expect is that? That is the THA head. The head. Now, mind you, she is the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, because people might argue and say that she's the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. But there's a THA that oversees the affairs of Tobago. You cannot just override the man. It shows that you don't give a damn about Tobago, no funny. So my sister, if all of this thing here, where all this thing reach, where Venezuela have to be trapped in Trinidad, and if anything happen to them over there, we will feel the brunt of it. It didn't have to reach there. It didn't have to reach there, but she had to get in. I had to play bad woman. Just keep neutral. Now look how much thing going on in Trinidad and Tobago now. Everybody, people uneasy. People, every time Trump, now the latest thing that Trump saying, he shut down the Venezuelan flying zone up there. Nothing could do, you don't come out. People will be anxious in Trinidad. People wondering what's going on, what to move, what to do. And the thing about it, they are not telling us nothing. My sister, let me tell you something. You see, all the information that going on, I getting it from the American news. Our leaders here are not telling us anything. All they're telling us is, be calm. Be calm. Don't worry, be calm. Everything that I need to find out what's taking place is American news. I mean, come on. All you have to be real. Kunji, all you have to be real. So talking with politics and them stupidness and be real and see what is taking place here is a serious thing. Have a good evening, my sister.
Thank you so much. All right, let me take this one quickly. Caller, you just have about 1 minute. Go right ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. I just want to say to the gentleman 2 calls ago, Mr. Kunji. This is not a PNM UNC thing, you know, they Trinidad and Tobago. And anything happen out there, it's Trinidad and Tobago go feel it, not the PNM or the UNC. It's Trinidad and Tobago, you damn clown.
Okay, all right. I understand. Thank you so much. All right, so let's I know there's so much. There's a lot of feelings that's coming on, and we don't want to insult anyone. We also want to just watch our language as well. All right, so we are going to go for a little break in a few moments. Let me just take this caller. You have about 30 seconds. Go right ahead, and you can call me back after.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Every time I hear Punji COP, it reminds me of the students who Camilla put at the SSN to secondary school, who got 30% in the C exam. Kunji, you are such a dunce. You and KFC, all you do is waste all your phone call calling and talking crap. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much. All right. Okay, so we're going to go for a little break. And we're going to come back and continue our discussion. I will start again with the Chief Secretary's views on the matter, and then we will come right back. Thank you and stay tuned.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Nature's Touch Massage Therapy and Nutrition and Nature's Touch Youth Health Caravan invites you to join us live on the Street 919 FM every second and fourth Friday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We are located at number 3, 7th Avenue North via the Eastern Main Road, Barataria. For further information, please call or WhatsApp the numbers 3988282 or our office numbers 241-7568 and 310-8671. Remember, at Nature's Touch, your health is our responsibility.
Playway Parang Payday is the order to win more money for your dollar.
The Playway Parang Payday Draw is the way to win more money for Christmas. If a white ball calls, it's removed from the machine. And when the Parang ball calls, you win 28-1 on the base. Plus bigger mega mix payouts. Players must be 18 years and over. Please play responsibly.
Bigger payouts with Playway.
Building dreams, delivering excellence. That's McClatchy Construction Company Limited. Since 2008, McClatchy Construction has grown into one of Trinidad and Tobago's most trusted names in construction. From residential homes to large-scale commercial and industrial projects, we bring integrity, innovation, and professionalism to every endeavor. Our services include general contracting, design and build, construction management, restorations, renovations, structural steelworks, infrastructure development, home construction, and equipment rental. Whatever your vision, we have the expertise to bring it to life. With over 17 years of proven experience and a portfolio of landmark projects, more than 70% of our work comes from repeat clients, a true testament to our quality and reliability. For trusted construction solutions, contact McClatchy Construction Company Limited at 221-5405 or 222-5897 or via email. admin@mcclatchyconstruction.com. McClatchy Construction Company Limited, building strong foundations for a better tomorrow.
There's some advice when you hear it. You know, one time is good advice. My granny tell me a hot cup of good and natural ginger tea first thing in the morning does wonders for the body. Good and natural ginger tea in its single-size packets is excellent for flavoring your cooking, salads and desserts. But what was news for me is when my granny say a hot cup of good and natural ginger tea helps with nasal congestion and colds, stomach problems, migraine headaches, and it's really good for arthritis in the body. Made from freshly crushed ginger root to get that strong ginger taste and aroma so soothing. Good and natural ginger tea available with or without sugar, so all you need is boiling water to get a cup going. As the old people say, don't take flambeau to see the night what you could see clear in the day. Good and natural ginger tea. Good advice to start your day right.
The Gap Man Limited specializes in products that cater to all your health needs. The Male Enhancement Package targets the areas of the body that contribute to erectile dysfunction. The Male Enhancement costs $1,400. The Gap pills are priced at 250 pills for $500 and 500 pills for just $900. For the best in eye care, get the super combination of a Super Bright and the Body Healer. To improve the heart's function and circulation, get the Gap Gap Pills and Formula C. To get a total body cleanse daily, use the Gap Body Healer and Big C, all for a super low price of $1,300. To order your products from the Gap Man Limited, call 628-4531 for products that cater to all your health needs.
For more info, contact 476-7268.
The Embassy Yacht is back and ready to transform your events into unforgettable experiences. Launched from Kings Wharf, San Fernando, the perfect starting point for an epic experience of luxury, music, and celebration on the open water. By booking our vessel, your event will include a house DJ, state-of-the-art sound system, fully stocked bar, dedicated cleaning crew, top-notch security. This isn't just a venue, it's a floating masterpiece designed to make your event the talk of the town. Imagine your guests dancing under the stars, drinks in hand, with breathtaking views of the coastline as your backdrop. From birthdays to corporate events to exclusive parties, the Embassy Yacht offers promoters a unique platform to create unforgettable memories and boost your brand's reputation. Call or WhatsApp 399-5959 or email embassycruises@gmail.com.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Merry Christmas.
Starting November 1st, we kick off the Parang and Christmas season right here. Ready to hear your song? Email us your request at street919music@gmail.com with your contact number, and you will get to shout out your music on the air.
2026, I wanna share some licks. Certain thing in the industry have to fix. 2026, I wanna share some licks. Certain thing in the carnival have to fix. I ain't going no party if I don't know who's singing. I don't know who playing. I don't know who DJing. I say I ain't going no party if I don't know who's singing. I don't know who playing. I don't know who DJing. Before I pay, you have to assure me. What happened in five cartels can't happen to me. Before I spend $1, I want to see your flyer. Who is the artist contractor? Come and mash up the party. I come here to jump up. Hey, free up. Hey, hands in the air, hands up in the air. I just want to jump up. Hey, free up. Hey, hands in the air, hands up in the air. 2026, all the share some licks. Certain things in the carnival have to fix. I ain't playing massive, your man not going Savannah. Queen's Park Savannah, Mr. Van Leader. I say, I ain't playing massive, your man not going Savannah. Queen's Park Savannah, Mr. Van Leader. Before I pay, you have to assure me. We will be crossing Queen's Park Stage on Carnival Day. Me and my posse, we all live with glory. And we live on TV. Watch how we done mash up a party. I just want to jump up. Hey, free up. Hey, hands in the air, glass up in the air. I just want to jump up. Hey, free up. Hey, hands in the air, glass up in the air. 2026, I wanna share some licks. Certain thing in the industry have to fix. 2026, I wanna share some licks. Certain thing in the Kaiso have to fix. I ain't going no Kaiso tent if you don't have Calypso. Sweet Calypso. All you want to go. I say, I ain't going no Kaiso tent if you don't have Calypso. Sweet Calypso. Get out and crow. Before I pay, you have to assure me. They will not be singing songs to chase people away. Let's sing about the country, how we can make money, how to raise a family, how to live in love and unity. I just want to jump up. Hey, free up. Hey, hands in the air, flags up in the air. Everybody jump up. Hey, free up. Hey, hands in the air, flags up in the air.
Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Good evening to you. Samoya here on the Street 91.9 FM. We are on the third umpire. So I am your host for today. I cannot give you the cricket term But I'm your hostess for today. All right. So we are continuing with our discussion on the tensions between Venezuela and the U.S. and what's happening with Trinidad and Tobago at the center of it. And while I wait for your calls, I truly appreciate your thoughts and views on the matter. I want to hear this evening, if possible, from our brothers and sisters in Tobago. We want to hear what's happening on the ground with you, how you are feeling about that radar that's so close to home now. It's on Tobago soil. So how do you feel about that? Now, some callers were earlier sharing about the concerns with the transparency and the communication. Let me just take this call. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good evening, Samoya.
Hi.
And to them, you know, a caller talking about you turning a blind eye and turning a blind eye. America, gospel and policy doesn't fit what I listen to. America have sanctions, embargo on Cuba for the last 64 years. America enemy is not my enemy. They have sanctions on China, Russia, Iran, sanction on everybody that they don't like, if you understand me. I mustn't go down that road with America. America have issues with Venezuela. They're holding Venezuela. The reason why Venezuela have this hardship right now is because of sanctions by America. And as long as you don't agree with what America want to do with you, you're the enemy. And by the hook and the crook, they will get rid of you. Just check Gaddafi. Just check Saddam Hussein. Just check Assad. All these people that get rid of. Because why? Their policy is not like you're cutting the cloth to fit America. As a but this like cause suppose I do when see other nations America you in is the opposite to Venezuela. Venezuela, the people and them who run out of Venezuela is the elite. $100 billion, what they siphon out between 93 and 98. The Venezuelan oil revenue, when they were in power before Chavez come and take over. This is the things that people have to realize why Venezuela is in this position right now. We get up now. I'm saying that the radar is for protection because of drugs and human trafficking. No, the Marines, the U.S., the United States will be in Trinidad and Tobago as long as they like. We didn't do like other CARICOM nations and say no, we stay in. Take 1945 second
Caller, we're just having a little challenge with the connection. It's kind of dipping. Do you mind just calling us back because your contribution is cutting up a bit?
All right.
All right. So try calling me back. Thanks. All right. So while I wait on the caller, I have another caller. Good evening and welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Hi. Go right ahead.
Okay, great. Really happy that the program is on today. Looking forward to it. Specific to the topic regarding U.S. and Venezuela, the issues that they have been happening, I think they should, have a certain level of maturity and bring an end to the misunderstanding that they have in. And it could really be as simple as communication. So someone, just pick up a phone, make a call, have a Zoom meeting, or they have the resources to meet each other in their country and bring a very quick resolution to whatever the issue might be. It would set a good example as leadership, and is better ways to have a relationship than having issues. So yeah, they should bring an end to that. That's my contribution.
Thank you so
in
much.
terms of the radar in Tobago, first I hearing of it, so I will listen more about it.
Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Good evening and welcome.
Yes, you know?
Perfect. Go right ahead.
Right. America enemy is not my enemy. America make enemies all over the world. America is the warmonger of the world. America is the military industrial corporation. America is not a nation. America is the world's largest military industry. They have the biggest military budget, $1 trillion. They put into the military, and they make war with everybody. They're making war with Venezuela now because, according to callers and people right-minded thinking, is the oil of Venezuela that America want to control. They have sanctions on Venezuela since Chavez times. They have embargo on Cuba since 1961. Check the countries that they overthrow, like Libya and Iraq and Syria. Look, even Syria. The person who running Syria, who is the president of Syria right now, had a bunkie on his head. He was one of the captains in Al Qaeda because they overthrow Assad. He now they take off that bunkie and he is the president of Syria. So what we are witnessing here in Venezuela is sanctions against the people and them who run in Venezuela because they're not agreeing to what America wants. And we know, instead of being like the rest of CARICOM, being neutral for a very long time, I hear people talking about the SOFA, what Trinidad and Tobago signed in 2024. It doesn't give America the right to establish anything on the soil of Trinidad and Tobago. It's a mutual cooperation in military, but it doesn't give them the right to establish like this radar system in Tobago without the approval of the chief secretary and just the approval of the prime minister, who is going about her own agenda instead of the agenda of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. This is what we're witnessing. That's why she flip-flopping in answers to give us the true state of why America is in Trinidad and Tobago right now. You know, the A&R Robinson Airport will be a flight zone for American aircraft in and out of Tobago.
Thank you so much for that, caller. Now, just before I take another call, I want to draw to your attention. I'm looking at Sunday's Newsday. It says Chief Secretary Fali Augustine said that he has been assured by the central government that the military-grade radar system installed at the A&R Robinson Airport a few days ago will not be used by the U.S. to help attack Venezuela or any other nation. I'm going further down in the article. It says, in a stunning revelation, Sturge revealed that there has been a marked increase in illegal flights and drones entering the country to transport illegal guns and drugs. Right, so he said this is entirely for domestic security purposes. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister, in response to the views that Mr. Augustine was not communicated to, She is saying that he is not a member of the National Security Council, and as such he was not informed beforehand about the arrival and installation of the temporary U.S. military radar system. That's what she's saying. He is not a member of the National Security Council. So let's take that call. Good evening and welcome.
Yes, good afternoon. I kind of lost my train of thought, but however, the rest of the CARICOM or the rest of the Caribbean, you know how we're going to look in their eyes now, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, when we travel into these countries? What kind of feedback we're going to be getting from them after all this? Have a good evening.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome.
Good afternoon again, Simoya. You know, all these fanatics and Trinidad people, I await the day when they will ask for the evidence to be presented, right, to prove what America is saying is the truth. And if not, they're asking for evidence from America, for anybody else for that matter, in any matter, because if you are not seeing a shred of evidence and you lending all your energy, your voice to come and support actions without any evidence to support it, I don't think you should ask anybody for any evidence at any point in time in the future on any matter.
Paula, let me just ask you a question. I just read on the Sunday Newsday, it's saying Wayne Sturge said that there has been an increase in drones that's dropping off these guns and drugs. And for that reason, the radar system has been put in there for domestic security purposes. What are your thoughts on that? Seeing that you're speaking about evidence and so.
My thoughts on that is we ought to have been hearing some drones being shot out of the sky, if that is the case, because that is way less than a human life, right? So if you are confirming that it have these type of activity, and we in here, not one drone gets shoot out the sky yet. As I say, all this talk without anything to back it up, not a shred of evidence to prove it, and we also seeing that Ms. Prasad has continued in her pattern of not being totally honest. Because from her, you're getting one story, and then later on, a few minutes later, you're getting a totally different story, where she admitted she was lying and these kind of things. So I really don't trust these politicians as far as I could throw them. But as I say, for instance, just say that, and we didn't see a strike on a drone yet, it makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder if he is being truthful or not. Because you're shooting out boats. How much less it is to shoot out a drone if the drone transporting what you say transporting. But I honestly understand that the politicians understand that they have a group of people in this country who just refuse to think, so they will say anything and it will pass. But I'm listening to my
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Good afternoon, caller.
Hey, really brief. Well, I honestly think, and there's just a humble message to the media, the main media outlets out there. It's for quite too long now we have been speaking about Venezuela and America. I think we should really be, focusing on how we are building our economy and our society. The creation of job opportunities for persons, just redeveloping our mindset and our spirit as persons. I think we should really be working on that. So that's just my contribution.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, caller. Just mute your radio for me. Hi. Go ahead. I'm hearing you.
I feel these politicians, they're taking us for fools in this country right now. I never heard nothing about illegal planes landing and going back out. How big Trinidad is, how much airstrip we have in Trinidad. So they're just trying to buffer us with nonsense. And again, it is looking for, they just to give you an excuse. And people looking to hear from the Prime Minister. News flash. She ain't gonna talk or hold any press conference anytime soon. Right? I even know we don't even know if she held good enough. If we look at pictures and videos, she need help to walk down the stairs. Oh, what's brief? Well, I really think the Prime Minister is brief on what really going on in Trinidad. Every time she could never go a press conference by herself and answer questions. And then the media, they asking the appropriate questions at all. I don't know what kind of media we have in Trinidad right now. It's like they're afraid the government. They're afraid to ask the questions, the questions where everybody looking for answers for. I really don't know what's going on. I was listening to radio station before there. And somebody called us, there was like, saying, "There's no more hope again." Well, it is a hope, but there are no hope in Trinidadians or Trinidad Begonians, so to say. Because, I don't know, man. But that is my view on it.
Thank you so much for your contribution. And, I can understand the sense of hopelessness. I can understand all of those concerns because we feel as though, as some callers previously said, we are hearing news outside of Trinidad and Tobago. So we can see how people are arriving at that conclusion. Nevertheless, we still continue to keep our eyes on what is happening. And so what are your thoughts? Let me hear what you think about Minister Sturge's comments about these drones and the need for that radar because of the presence of drones. Now, some weeks ago, we would have shared that Minister Roger Alexander, would have made similar statements about the need for doing some work within the prisons because there were drone activity happening there. Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon to everyone. Was it said that there was a request for the radar in Tobago?
That's correct. The Prime Minister made that statement.
Kamala requested that?
Yes, she said it.
Is this the same radar they wanted to set up in Grenada that they were turned down with? The Grenada Prime Minister turned it down?
I'm not sure, but I'm certain that the Prime Minister made that statement.
I don't know how honest some of these things are coming from these people. I don't know. Because, the current situation in the country right now, so many single mothers and guys, gentlemen that out of a job since CPAP closed down. Everybody else salary running on, everybody getting the salary every fortnight, every month or whatever. But all these CPAP workers that was fighting and trying to make a little living in between. I'm not talking about the contractors. If you eliminated the contractors, fine. Right? If you fire them, fine. But what about all the workers? Much things people have courts taken back from people and things like that. People under pressure to pay, no money to pay the driver to drop the children to school. Some of them can't send the children to school properly. I mean, it's a hell of a thing. And what it is on the ground right now? People don't want PNM and people don't want UNC. You understand? That is what's on the ground right now. So these few callers who sit there and calling about this and calling about that, right? Examine what is really going on. They do not want UNC and they do not want PNM. Because it's like if it's a one-man show, like they say like Kamala with the decisions that she taken with these things. After you come into talk, this way, that thing is a hell of a thing, Because if you're saying that you requested that because of the June or whatever, right? How come all you went to set it up in Grenada and it was turned down, so they come and set it up in Tobago? That she requested that in Tobago. So these high tech equipments you have in the region, they can't detect drones. What if these warships on the they can't detect, so we could bomb up a warship with again then? Where are these ships? Any ships right in the region? You could detect these things from miles. You understand? I would really like to know what is really going on, and there's too much lies coming. You understand? And please try to help if any of these politicians listen. Try to get something. Try to start back something for the people on the ground. You're gonna have a team walk around and take all the people's names and different things. The people who were doing the job. Look at the state of the country. Look at the side of the. Look at the roads on them. Look at the amount of grass in the areas, right? And how much people suffering because of certain contractors that was doing this and those kind of things. So what about the genuine working people? Anyway, my dear, you take care, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And no UNC, no PNM.
Thank you for your thoughts. Thank you.
Yes, that's the talk on the ground. Take care, all the best.
Thank you so much. All right, caller, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Hello? Hello?
Hi, go right ahead.
Yeah, am I right?
Yes, hearing you well. Go ahead, we're hearing you.
Yes, my friend. No. When the big bad oppressing tree, all right, when the big bad oppressing country come down the Caribbean, they show people. Yeah, you understand? They show people that don't care about the innocents. And people still running and looking, you understand? If we go to America to care about we, all the ones is the liquid gold in the Caribbean because they can't get gold in Africa again. You understand? They can't do nothing in Africa again. They come and take the Caribbean now. You understand? That's what's going on. And because of the Prime Minister now to ball in a drug lord. You understand? She make a mistake because he laugh at PNM. How look at her joining with them. Understand? So America will come forward and look at stupidness. And because he run and cut a deal with, you know, I don't know I'm telling you what's going on with our Prime Minister. You understand? She needs some good advisors. You understand? And stop talking out I can talk. You understand?
Understood. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, caller.
People know right now what happened to it.
Good afternoon, go right ahead.
Good afternoon to you again, young lady. In the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, we have radar system for over 30 years in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And the radar system that we're supposed to have over here is supposed to capture all wrongdoings and any illegal activities on air, on waters, or on land. It failed miserably. Is it because someone was keeping a blind eye to the things that matters, the wrongdoing that matters in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? Because it's only about 2% of the drugs they get and they find it on land, they get it on land. Nothing on the waters. So we could clearly see our radar system wasn't working on behalf of this country because somebody was keeping a blind eye. Now we have, I will classify them as the big bullies. The big bullies say, well, all right, we're going to put our radar. Can you give us a spot to put our radar to be much more transparent and capture everything? It is evidential. No one will make the mistake to pass through the Caribbean or even Trinidad waters to bring drugs, ammunition, or underage girls to prostitute in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. With that radar system it have in Tobago. Why, citizens of this country, why you all don't think of it that way? The transparent way. The way that you will ensure that These Americans, they don't want nothing on the water coming in, no wrongdoings, and they ensure that no wrongdoing take place. That is the right thing to do. Any person who loves the country and believe in the Constitution, they will say that is the right thing to do. Any government that supports something like that, it is the right thing to do. How long will our leaders keep a blind eye to the development of this country and to the things that matters in this country based on accountability and transparency? Why you all don't want that, citizens of this country? Now you all know that people suffering in the country for the CPEP work. If the PNM did so love those CPEP workers and them, why it is they only give them 3 months contract, and then why didn't make it permanent and give them permanent work? Why didn't give the URP workers permanent work, but contented with have them working for under minimum wage? What type of administration will do people that for years your grandmother and grandfather work URP, your mother and father work URP, the children growing up working URP, and you have 5-10 generation working URP, and you all contented with that? You all contented with that? It's over 100 and something thousand young youths apply for job opportunities, and today we see with many of them getting permanent work. Why you all keep a blind eye to those developments, but interested in the controversial part to make our administration that have been in office for 7 months to look bad? Is it because you encourage that propaganda spreading? Not you, ma'am. The callers and them. You all encourage that propaganda and you all want that propaganda to spread? Why you all don't ask Marvin Gonzalez, telling Marvin Gonzalez he's going to spread propaganda all over this country in every nook and cranny? Why you all don't tell Marvin Gonzalez that is not the responsibility of an MP? How are you keeping a blind eye towards those things? Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. So we are moving steadily along. Barataria, I just saw you calling. I'm waiting for your call. Good afternoon, Barataria.
Good afternoon. No, I just tried to listen to the radio station and hear the so-called Rastaman. And let me ask you, is your conversation about the radar?
Yes, we're speaking about the radar.
Yes. Because I don't know why they want us to accept this radar. Because I asked them, did the American government give us this radar? No. So, you telling me this radar, how this radar is, why this radar is supposed to protect me? From what? What is this radar supposed to protect me from? How all of a sudden I am in danger that I need a radar? That is the question. Kunji, why do we need a radar? Because we have our own radars. Because before they came here, we had radars. That's how a plane could land in Tobago. That's how a plane could land in Trinidad. With our radars. That is how we could tell if a boat is coming from Venezuela or not and send the Coast Guard with our radars. But you know what is more surprising? Grenada they asked to put a radar into Grenada, and the Grenadian population, before the Prime Minister could say, make noise. But a man came here, he 2 doubles, and left, and leave a radar system in place, and our Prime Minister don't know. Tell me they come to fix the road. Did they come to fix school there? I know what school they fix it. So they fixed the road in Tobago and putting on a new run. So the Chinese didn't know what I was doing when I was building the airport. So them come to install a thing for drainage. But all of a sudden we have something spinning around to protect we borders. From what? I don't think a narco trafficker could shoot a missile to destroy Tobago where I need a radar. Kunji, the radar is not given to us. So when they leave, when they're leaving, are they going with their radar or radars? Because if the radar is to protect Trinidad and Tobago, then they should say they're giving us the radar, so when they leave, the radar will be here to continue the job that it's supposed to protect us from. But when the radar was installed and started to function, it took about 2 days. All of a sudden, I heard the president of America, Trump, got more testicular fortitude than a king to tell Venezuelans or tell the air traffic around Venezuela that it becomes a no-fly zone. All of a sudden, as the radar installed, Venezuela becomes a no-fly zone. Kunji, where you all live in? That all you coming to talk this rubbish. Right now, we are on edge because if Venezuela decides that the radar in Tobago could hamper them from defending themselves from an American invasion, they are going to target the radar. So automatically puts the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago into a war zone. I don't know where all they live in. From the time that radar land here, from the time the Prime Minister said in 2013 or whenever she supported Guaido, government change in America, she write a letter stating that Biden was not a good Prime Minister to Trump. And we are asking why. Why would you do that? So come on, people. The lady is clearly showing that she is supporting Trump. She even reads so far that she don't have press conference, she just talk to we on X. Everything Trump does, she apparently is doing now. A female clone of Trump. Come on, people. Couldn't you only go and lie down and sleep now? My family, thank you very much for giving me this time, and do enjoy evening and be safe on your way home.
All right, and just to read a little excerpt from here, in the newspaper, our Prime Minister did admit to making a request for the radar system. She said, months ago, I made the request to the local U.S. Embassy for a U.S.-supplied radar as a temporary solution for our poor surveillance capabilities. I'm coming to you, caller. A system will be installed at a site in Trinidad until a permanent replacement replacement for ineffective existing radar system can be installed. What are your thoughts? Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah, that caller before literally had excellent points brought forward.
What are your thoughts on the entire situation?
Well, like everybody else, and like the caller now said before, what is the purpose of a radar? That radar there is not for only traffic on the scene. That radar there is for missiles. So really from the first, it's a video circulating on social media now showing well, it is alleged, you know. I don't want to bring your radio station into the street or whatever. That is alleged, you know. And they talk about it, they say the time frame for it to pick up a missile when it launched, that radar will pick it up within 50 minutes, as opposed to the other radars where they reduce the missiles, might take hours. You know, so, yeah, according to the caller, that's how it is Trinidad. When America don't do what they have to do and leave, will they be leaving the radar here or will they be going with it? Excellent point. I want to find out the maintenance of that radar as well.
Most likely it could be maintained by the U.S.
Yeah. Because it rotates, it's constantly moving. It's not moving on its own. It has mechanical equipment attached to it. So who's going to maintain it? Is America going to maintain it? Or Trinidad going to be maintaining it? So, yeah. All right, have a good one.
Thank you so much for your thoughts. Thank you for your thoughts, caller. So I'm just going to read another excerpt here that came from the retired Lieutenant Commander Norman Dindial, a former military commander. Dindial, who is the political leader of the National Transmission Alliance, NTA, claimed that Trinidad and Tobago already has a fully functional and effective marine radar system, and that the U.S.-operated system in Tobago is a battlefield-grade technology designed for war and not counter-narcotics. Just sharing. What are your thoughts? Good afternoon to you, caller. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good
To you
afternoon.
and
Welcome.
Trinidad and Tobago. You know, it seems as though Trinbagonians gullible to lies. Because listen, how all of a sudden, months ago, they request for a radar. But the radar was to go to Grenada. When Grenada didn't accept it, it comes to Trinidad. So fix them lies, no man. Don't too much lie. Goodbye. To you.
All right, I think we lost that call. All right, continue to call in. I'd love to hear your thoughts. We are hearing the different views and perspectives. The Prime Minister is saying that it is nothing for the citizenry to be afraid of. This is for domestic national security matters. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good evening again to you, young lady. All right, the Prime Minister requested a 21st century radar. I'll give her 10 out of 10 because that is good national security work. It is evidential that the Venezuelan has been sending threat to Trinidad and Tobago. It is evidential that Venezuela has been sending threat to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Why would you not want a radar that will detect any missile coming to our country? Why you wouldn't want that? The Republic of Trinidad and Tobago never sent one threat to Venezuela. And you all witness, you all pia human being, witness Venezuela sending threat to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Why would you not want a national, at the head of the National Security Council to do the job by requesting a 21st century radar so that anything Venezuela want to interfere with because of sudden threat, they can detect it? Why you all will not want that? Why? What type of human being will want the head of national security to do the job? Under the PNM, the head of National Security Council, our borders was open for months. Why is it? They say we had a functioning radar. Why? If we have a functioning radar to pick up small things, and we have now a 21st century radar that will pick up anything that Venezuela want to do to our country because the sudden threat. You know, up to now I hear you all stand up for your country and say, why Venezuela sudden threat to us? Why Venezuela sudden threat to us? What did we do for Venezuela? 7 years ago, we give Venezuela, the PNM party give Venezuela $50 million in food. What about that appreciation? After we feed your country, you will send threat to us? And because you're a PNM party supporter, you keep a blind eye towards that? You, Barataria, that come from St. Vincent, that not even a Trinidadian? Your grandmother and grandfather bring you here to be a PNM until you're dead? So you don't care about any other country that's sending threat to us in this country? We give the taxpayers of this country, give Venezuela $50 million in food and toilet paper. What did Venezuela ever give us but to send threat to our government? Because it's not the government that gives them that money. Why don't ask for them to show appreciation and consideration? Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon, good afternoon. Could you go and make a bake or something now? Your song is, look, let me be radio friendly, yeah?
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, boy,
Thank
Kunji
you. But tell me,
always
what
sick
are
on a
your
boy.
thoughts? Because you're hearing so many different opinions and feelings about this situation. How is it making you feel?
Yeah, everything we could be the PNM. Oh God. Thankful for people like Mr. Baratari and them who could come and talk some sense. Kunji and them that talk, um, my sister, I kind of disappointed with the fact that Mr. Fali, because when the thing happened with the startup, with the radar business, Mr. Fali condemned it. Mr. Fali demanded a meeting with the Prime Minister to find out exactly what is going on. He came out and with every force he condemned what was going on. He felt that he should have been consulted.
But
No,
the Prime Minister's
the
statement was
Prime
that
Minister
he's not
sent.
part of the National Security Council. So in her view, he didn't have to be consulted. How do you feel about that?
Well, probably she needs to make him part of the Security Council, ma'am, because he, as I said earlier on, he is the head of the THA. He is responsible for what goes on in Tobago, and not just that. He have two seats. So you cannot. Yes, he is the Prime Minister of Tobago, but at the same time, he runs the affairs of Tobago. And I am saddened today. Why? Because Mr. Fali came out and condemned it. She didn't like what went on. She sent Wayne Sturge and the Attorney General to speak to him, and he just went along like Baji. He moved to me, he moved real weak. He moved weak because you came out, you condemn it, you don't like it, you say that you don't want to be able to be part of this thing that's going on in Trinidad and Venezuela. You made that point very clear. As soon as Wayne Sturge and the Attorney General come and sit down and talk some nothing to your ears, you boy long, well, I want to thank Kamala and I want to thank. You sound just like the chief who said the using money like they're making it. And then when Kamala talked to him, he boy long and said they misquoted him. Come on, Mr. Chief Secretary. If you're a head and a leader now, I understand what he's saying, no, ma'am. Kamala said that he is not in the Security Council and so on and so on. So that gives you the right to come into Tobago and do what the hell you want. So you can come in Tobago, put up statue, build this, build that, and don't consult him. So he is a nobody then. The name behind him, Chief Secretary, means nothing then. All I am saying there is total disrespect. And I find Mr. Fali, I was ready to stand up with you. But when I sing Mr. Wayne Sturge and the Attorney General saying down there with you and you in the middle like a little puppet, I said, no, I didn't know Mr. Fali is so weak. Look, let me come over before I start. Have a good evening, man.
Thank you so much. I saw Kingsley calling earlier. Kingsley, call back if you can. Let me take this call. Good evening and welcome.
The reason why national security could put down our radar in Tobago is because they have the authority and they have the constitutional responsibility to put it over there. And Fali cannot tell them nothing if they have to put it over there. National security have that constitutional power to put that over there. And then they can consult with Fali. Because the laws of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago provide that opportunity and that power, people. National security, the police service can appoint a head of police in Tobago without even consulting Fali Agustin. Why it is only being political and only not understanding the constitutional responsibility that the national security have and the head of National Security Council. They can put that there. They can request one from any part of the world and put it over there because the constitution provide that power for them to put it over there. And Fali say he didn't like it. And after he understand, he said he understand why they put it over there and he's not part of national security. And after that they understand and they're working with it. That is what responsible national security is engaged in. Why national security must come and tell you PNM people and them their plans and what they're going to do. And what they're going to do. Why they must come and tell her that? All they had 10 years. All they had 10 years to make the country better and to make the waters safer. And all they fail and that miserably. So all they could take whatever all they get now. The law provide National Security Council to put down a radar there. You can't do nothing about it. The PNM can't do nothing about it. Penny can't do nothing about it. And Fali have to understand. And he understand today. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. All right. Let me take this call. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm always amazed when people call and they're talking about constitution. So I have a simple question. Which is the constitution you're talking about? The one where the Red Jersey leader said he imposed property tax and demerit points, and then the Yellow Jersey leader come and say, forget all about that. So when it was the Red Jersey, it was a law. And when the Yellow Jersey come, it's not a law. I want him to tell me, what is the constitution he's talking about? And whether he really understands what he's talking about. Okay. You understand where my question come from?
Certainly, I understand the question.
Good. Is that a good question? Because when the Jersey Red...
But I'm hearing both sides of the argument. That's what I'm going
to say. When the Jersey Red is a law, and when the Jersey Yellow, to hell with that. And that's a law too. Let him call back. What do you know he's talking about?
Right, so oh my gosh, I think I closed off a call in error. My apologies. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon. Remember, the radar was never meant for Tobago, no? They wanted to set it up in Grenada. So this lies with, she said it was, she wanted that in Tobago, which too, she wanted that because of the drones and all this type of thing. We have to understand the lies of America and the dishonesty. You see what's going on in America right now? There's real turmoil in America right now. You understand? And they always try to infiltrate and capture these countries and control these countries. Look at now when the people come out and say in Iraq they were paid to break down Saddam's statue and all these type of things when they were making you feel they hate Saddam so much. You understand? They're still in Iraq. You understand? Controlling the oil. It's control. They want to get control of Venezuela. You understand? It's not because of no leader and because of Maduro and just why and this and that. They show you Guaido cutting away with Rubio and the two big drug men from Colombia in Venezuela. You understand? All of them is one when you look at it, the money is where weapons are and where the drugs are, and that is where Trump and the boys and them and Rubio and all of them are. That is where they are. We don't know what arrangement he made with Kamala, you understand? But it's such a disgrace to see leaders lying about these things when it's out in the open. I don't know if they don't understand what they're doing, right? If the thing was supposed to go Grenada and they rejected it, and bam, it ended up in Tobago. Why are you saying you requested it in Tobago for X, Y, and Z? You understand? There's not the point. Look at the type of equipment they have in the region. They're supposed to pull down a drone, any drone in the area. these ships are well equipped. You understand? So this kind of foolishness that they want to come and make, I don't know why these leaders just feel the people so stupid. You understand? To come out with these kind of things. America is very corrupted. You see what's going on in America, one of the worst countries right now. You understand?
Thank you so much.
We had to look at what they tried to do. Look at Cuba, how they were able to stand on their own. You understand? And get things going properly. Look at the kind of doctors they have in Cuba without any with all the embargo they had, America had on Cuba. You understand? They were still able to survive. Look at what they're doing to the other countries and them.
Thank you, caller. We are on to the last 30 seconds. Anyway, thank you so much.
We put you in a hot pot today and you handled very good.
Thank you.
Just neutral, yes. Very good. Take care.
Thank you so much. All right, so we are on the last 25 seconds. I'm so sorry I cannot take everyone's call. Kingsley, I saw you've been trying to get in for a while, but we are going to pick up with this conversation hopefully tomorrow evening. There's lots to talk about. I want to thank you all for joining me this evening and sharing your views. Hopefully we can get some callers from Tobago to give us your perspective tomorrow. See you then. Have a good evening.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.